North Dakota just decided it was okay to ignore your pronouns. And I say good.
He's unbothered.
What's up, everybody? Rivera here, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. For anybody that's wondering, my pronouns are...
Music kills, I steal some bills, I kills, always kills,
That's right, I said...
my kids are...
Okay, for those that can't get it...
Is a kisser.
Ugh. How transphobic can you guys be? Before we get started with this video, I'm just going to ask that you like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to comment, but you don't know what to comment, just go ahead and put a knife, because you know they're going to come for my neck on this one. Okay, so the governor of North Dakota just signed a bill allowing teachers to ignore students' pronouns. I tried to tell you, LGBT community, specifically the trans community, people are getting sick of your shit. I don't mean to be mean. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. People are over it. 100% over it. In this same bill, they make it so that if a kid is identifying as something other than the gender they were born, the parents have to be notified. Also, if the kids want to use a bathroom other than the bathroom from the gender that they were born as, the parents have to be notified on that as well, which I can understand why all of it's happening. Teachers already have enough that they're having to deal with. Some teachers are having to buy their own school supplies. Teachers are notoriously underpaid, and now they've got to remember if you're a Zay and a Zir or a Z and a Zim, and I'm not even exaggerating when I say this. And some people are going to say that it's the same as gay rights. It's really not the same as gay rights. Gay rights really was about us trying to get life to be easier for us. The new school LGBT agenda is about trying to make life difficult for everybody else. I've dealt with some of these people online. They really are insistent about being a Zay, a Zim, and a Zir, and I don't want to learn a whole new language to be friends with you. I don't want to learn a whole new language to have to deal with you in a professional setting, especially if I'm a teacher and there's a chance that you're going to go to the principal's office about me and tell them that I'm not respecting your pronouns. I already have enough to deal with in a day. I'm not getting paid enough for this job. I don't want to have to deal with remembering different pronouns for each person. And yes, it does get as ridiculous as I'm saying. Some people want you to remember that they're a they in certain instances and a he in other instances, and neither are the gender they were born. Nobody wants to deal with that. And you can say it's about being kind. That's really not about being kind. Being kind is opening the door for people. Being kind is asking somebody how their day is going. Being kind is grabbing somebody a glass of water if they look parched. That's being kind. Learning a whole new language for people that you don't speak, that's not what it's about. And then when it comes to notifying the parents that the kid is wanting to identify as something other than what they are, or wanting to go to a bathroom that's other than the bathroom to the gender that they were assigned, I think a parent should know if their child is going through something like that. Who knows? It could be a phase. It could be something they're working on at home. It could be something that they're completely oblivious to. What if there's some sort of problem that they've been working on? What if the teacher calls and says, Mrs. Jones, your son Lyle, he's been saying he identifies as a woman and insists on going to the girls' bathroom. We don't know what to do about it. Which I don't know that that's the way they talk in North Dakota. But what I do know is that maybe the parent would be like, God damn it, I didn't know Lyle was doing that at school. We caught him trying to sniff his sister's panties last week, and it's just something we're working on. He has this obsession with women that is not natural. We really appreciate you letting us know. What if it's something like that? I'm not saying every trans person is a panty sniffer. I've known many trans people. Far as I know, none of them were panty sniffers. But what if little Lyle Jones is a panty sniffer? Shouldn't his parents know that he's trying to possibly sniff panties in school or whatever he might be doing in the women's bathroom? All I'm saying is the parents should know. Some people will compare it to civil rights and black people or people of color in general. Not the same thing. People of color were fighting for the right to be seen as human. The new school LGBT community is fighting for the right to be respected as something foreign, and that wasn't what the movement was about. Then people would say that that makes it unsafe for kids that aren't coming from the best homes or their parents aren't the most supportive. There's a chance, but there's also a chance that that's not what it is. So according to this is just what it is. It went into effect immediately. Governor Burgum from North Dakota signed it. after being passed by North Dakota's House and Senate with veto-proof majorities. And then they say it's part of a larger push for anti-LGBT laws in general. But I think a lot of people are becoming very unsympathetic to the idea of anti-trans laws because a lot of these anti-trans laws aren't actually anti-trans. They're pro-everybody else. And I've tried to tell the LGBT community numerous times the strategies and tactics that they're using aren't going to be the most beneficial to their cause. They don't want to hear it. They're not open to anybody else's opinion or hearing what anybody else may think. They have their doctors, they have their representatives, they have their way that they want things to get done, and whether or not the American public wants to go with it, that's what they want to go with. But the LGBT, specifically trans population, is not big enough to make the changes and force everybody to bow down to what it is they're asking for, which at this point it is asking people to completely bow down and just accept that whatever the trans community wants us to do, we now have to do, or else we get labeled transphobes, we get labeled hateful, we get labeled discriminatory, bigots. None of those words mean anything anymore. They've been overused, and sometimes it's just that people don't agree with you. Sometimes people just see things a different way. Sometimes it's not about the fact that people are afraid of you or don't understand you or are trying to be mean to you. Sometimes it's like, we get exactly what you're saying. We just don't think that's the way that we're going. So if you're going to try to force that on us, then I guess legislation is going to have to be introduced so that you don't overrun us the way that you're trying to overrun us. It can't all be one-sided. It can't all be us compromising and you continuing to put guilt on us in order to get what it is you want. No relationship is ever going to work that way. And the relationship between the general population and the trans community specifically is going to need a little more work on the trans side at this point, because while they want acceptance and tolerance, they need to exercise that same acceptance and tolerance towards people that may not think the way that they do. All of this is going to be reliant on compromise. The trans community will not want to hear that. I know I'm going to get called hateful. I'm willing to take the consequence. It comes with the territory. But this is about me telling the truth to the trans community as well as the American public. I've had many trans friends. I'm not against the trans community in general, but I am against the fringe minority that's speaking for the trans community at this time. And I happen to know for a fact that old school trans people aren't even going for this. Just the basic male to female, female to male. A lot of them are just trying to live their lives in the most peaceful way possible. Don't want to bother anybody. Don't want to be bothered. Don't want to infringe on anybody's rights. Don't want their rights infringed on. That's what a lot of transsexual people want. But the new school transgender community hasn't even been a part of the fight or the struggle, and now that transsexual people are starting to get a little bit of headway, or we're starting to get a little bit of headway, it's like when you're waiting in line and then all of a sudden a bunch of people come from out of nowhere and you've been waiting forever in this line, and then they just try to crowd through the door or into the line at the same time as you are. That's what the transgender community is doing to transsexual people. They're just crowding through. But when it comes to transsexual people versus transgender people, transsexual people need some good old-fashioned gatekeeping and to be like, no, you're not a part of our crowd. The entire community needs to do that. When I say the community, I mean what's considered the LGBT community. What we need to do is push this out of our community. If you want to start your own movement and you want to be the strictly transgender movement, which would include non-binary and whatever other people that identify as dogs, and that's not even a joke, there are people that identify as dogs, all that fringe stuff, you make your own community. Because we were working towards something and we were close to getting it. We were even close to getting it for our transsexual brothers and sisters. So, North Dakota is just the latest. I'll do videos on some of the others coming up because a lot of stuff is coming down the pike. A lot of stuff has already happened, and I plan to catch you up on all of it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Ty Rivera, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world.